Today's adventure begins by crossing over this bridge, this very marshy area, as the recording of this Tuesday, January 25th, 2022. I'm heading over to, well, outside of Myrtle Beach. I almost said Myrtle Beach. South of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, is Huntington Beach State Park. Not to be confused with Huntington Beach, California, which I am very familiar with in Orange County. This is taken after a different namesake, I believe. It's right over this bridge. Welcome everyone. Adam the Woo here. Behind me is Atalaya Castle. In front of me, piping hot caffeinated beverage right there in the tree. Gonna learn some things today. I'm inviting you to join me. Shall you? This building, this structure right on the beach, was built by a gentleman by the name of Archer Huntington, hence the name, Huntington Beach State Park, not to be confused with Huntington Beach, California, for his wife Anna, who had some medical conditions, and this was her winter home, if you could believe it. A massive castle built right here on the water. Designated a National Historic Landmark in 1992, Atalaya is the former winter home of renowned sculptor Anna Hyatt Huntington and her husband, who built this, Archer Milton Huntington, a well-known scholar, a businessman, and a poet. Primarily, it was a home and working studio of a famous sculptor, secondarily because of its Moorish-influenced architecture. Soon after the 1923 marriage in New York, Anna was diagnosed with tuberculosis. In seeking treatment for her illness, the Huntingtons sought a warmer climate to spend their winters, and that's where this came into play. That's the Cliff Notes quick, not the best read version of the info. Paraphrasing. It feels so good out here. It's probably about 42 degrees perhaps. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Okay. This is pretty dang awesome. Impressive. Most impressive. Here's the castle map. Entrance would be here. That's where I'm standing. And there are lots of different numbers and points stating all the different areas. It was $8 to get into the state park. Do not know if there's a separate admission for here as well. But to find out. Oh, here we go. General admission is $2 per person. And you can do an audio tour for $5. I'm just going to do a self-guided. The visitor center is open daily from 9 to 4, so make sure you get here before 4 p.m. and after 9 a.m. Oh, there's someone waiting right over there. Hello. I didn't realize there was anyone in here. Just like the tree that I was around, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago. No beverages are allowed, so I have to discard of this. She let me know that to finish up my coffee and put it in that trash receptacle. Water is allowed, but no piping hot caffeinated beverages, so see if you can hear how good this last slurp is. All right, paid the $2 extra, so total $8 to get in the state park, $2 to go through Atalaya Castle. And I was talking to the lady at the gift shop, very kind with her information. She was saying that this is not state funded. The park is, but the separate $2, this is self-funded. And from what she was saying, they get no money from the state, and you can leave donations too. So $2, but you can also leave a little bit more for a donation and buy merchandise. So I will be exiting through the gift shop, and I'll probably buy a magnet or a t-shirt or something. I have way too many t-shirts, but I could always use another one. Here is the castle map, kind of like I showed out front, so I'll be able to give a little tour based on this. So I'm kind of like over here near 16, and they have put numbers up Okay, this is really good because this helps you coincide with where you are. So number 16, for example, shown here. And then you just look over here, I am near the foyer. Foyer, sunroom, and a secretary's library. She also let me know that I am the only one in here at the moment. There were 2 other guests that were just walking out as I walked in. Okay, I really like how much info. Anna Hyatt Huntington was born to Alpheus and Adela Beebe Hyatt back in 1876. She was influenced by her sister Harriet's sculpture talent, her father's career in paleontology and zoology. Very nice. I think $2 extra admission in here is a little too inexpensive. Because this is awesome. This is so cool. The site possesses national significance and commemoration of the history of the United States of America. In 1992, this was placed here as the National Park Service. And a lot of times it's not even referred to as a castle, it's just referred to as Atalaya. You can even hear the waves crashing off on the shore. Now from this lower window, oh look at this, how this window closes up and you can put like a big plank of wood there to lock the window. But the beach is right down that path. If I have the ability to go up on an upper level, might be able to see the beach. Originally had a door which led to a small patio overlooking the ocean. A favorite spot for them to enjoy their morning coffee. However, you're not allowed to bring coffee in here anymore and recreate the enjoyment the Huntingtons did. But that is a different subject matter. This must have been the door leading out to the ocean. The wooden strips on the wall near the ceiling were originally used to hang tapestries shown up near the roof line. You can faintly see them. Looks as if there's a couple right there that are kind of worn down. Oh, no, I'm incorrect. Right here. Look at those wooden strips are still there. Wow. All these years later. Look at that. You can see here the brick is kind of separating just a little bit, the foundation shifting. The dining room contained wrought iron chairs designed by Anna herself. And when the Huntingtons left Atalaya, they gave them to a former employee. This would be the dining room. And a lot of fireplaces through here. Okay. Probably getting into the kitchen area. Number 20, right there on the wall, would be the food service room, according to this pamphlet. The food service room. With the food service window. Look at this. This was the servants' living room. Lot of fireplaces. And now about to peek into the kitchen, number 23. It contained 2 coal-burning stoves, a gas-powered refrigerator, a large icebox, and a large hooded grill. Meals were prepared not just for the Huntingtons, but for their large staff as well. There you can see the burn marks there from the stove. A little stove hole. Some pipes over here. Little relics of the past. You just think of this place was a beehive of activity at one point. People living their lives. Cooking meals, eating food, enjoying the day. So fascinating. History is so fascinating. The icebox down here. You go from this one main kitchen room into the storage area, the pantry. These wooden shelves here, showing some time and what time has done. You can see this overlooks out to the parking area and into the icebox. Ooh, I have to make sure this don't get locked in. This is the icebox door. Okay, there's no lock on it. They have removed the lock. This is where the icebox was. A walk-in icebox had a door which opened from the outside. A block and tackle was mounted outside the window to haul 300-pound blocks of ice brought over from Georgetown, South Carolina, that is. There are quite a few different Georgetowns, probably the most famous outside Washington, D.C. This is a different Georgetown. Look at this. And that probably opens to the outside. That little like wooden door that goes up there. I feel like this is like something that how a horror film started. If someone closed that door, picture it's got a creature right there. Don't know if I've ever seen a place with this many fireplaces. I've walked over into another room. This peeks out onto into the courtyard. Quite an impressive courtyard. That's the main little walkway I walked in when I paid the $2 very inexpensive admission for this history. Imagine being in here, living in here. You got this whole huge hallway. Your friend would be all the way down there. I'd be like, hey! What do you want for dinner? This is simply labeled storage. So you got storage in here with the little cubby holes. And then the door shuts. So this door would shut and there is like an external storage here. So a lot of storage space. And they've removed all the latches and locks so no one goes into the storage area, gets stuck. Annie McKinnon was the head housekeeper, and this was her room. She arrived ahead of the Huntingtons before the season to get everything ready and to hire locals to take care of business around the facility before the Huntingtons arrived. This isn't even their main home. As my mom would say, they were living high on the hog. She says that a lot. It's kind of cute. The laundry drying yard. Imagine having so much laundry that you need an entire yard to dry it. There's a metal bracket right there. The lookout tower. Oh, these branches are kind of obscuring the pathway. You got to go around it. Look at this little moat down here. Just for the water, like a little retention stream. Not really a moat, but... Okay, I don't think I can go up in the lookout tower, but that is cool. That is really cool. Look at that. I'm doing my best castle stance. I'm still the only one in here. The outer walls of the building form a square with the east side facing the ocean. Within the walled structure, there are two grassy open inner courtyards. Living quarters consist of 30 rooms on 3 sides of the perimeter. 30 rooms. Have one heck of a sleepover. Also notice this ramp. This does not look like a modern addition. This ramp appears to have been built back when the castle was built, where instead of taking stairs, you have this ramp. The birds are so numerous, I hear their sweet notes outside my window every early morning. They're piping ever above the roar of the ocean. See if we can live vicariously through what Anna heard and felt. You can hear the birds. The ocean's right over there. Listen. That is cool. Now the husband, Archer, he custom built a shower for all of his 6 feet 5 inches. Wow. Custom built shower stall. Can you identify where they were? Can I identify where the shower stall was? I think it's right here. Yeah, this is the shower. Look at all these nozzles and knobs. Wow, even up here? Okay, yeah, he's very tall. I'm 6'3". Archer was 2 inches taller than I am. Good sized bathroom, good sized shower. Especially for back in those days. The wardrobe room is where Archer kept all his clothes. So it's not exactly a mirror image this side. This room is huge. This is the study. This is where he would do all his work, create his architecture, design the plans for Brookgreen Gardens, which is also, just down the road. Wrote poetry. He answered some correspondence. And another fireplace. And a bookshelf. Could this be an original bookshelf? And notice the holes in the bottom of this door there. There's like, half a dozen to a dozen holes there across the door. Okay, I'm going into this little chamber. Don't want to get locked in here. I'm in another storage cabinet. I don't know why I shut the door. I don't know why I shut the door, but I did. The studio and the pen. Now I have 5 monkeys chattering in the studio. The peafowl screaming in the yard and the bears crawling on the other side. As a sculpture, I call it an embarrassment of riches. But others might not think so. That was a letter she wrote to her friend, Edith Hall Plimpton, back in 1936. And here's some of her works. There were some monkeys in this room. Just think about that. Go back in time in your mind. That's what I'm doing. My mind is going back in time to the 1930s. Got some animals in here, sculpting them, being creative, getting the creative juices a-flowing with the beach within ear view. And the outdoor studio, adjacent to the indoor studio, as an artist, Anna much preferred natural sunlight to sculpt by. She worked here in her outdoor studio when the weather was accommodating. When it was not, the adjacent indoor studio with a massive 25-foot skylight and large windows made a fine substitute. I don't feel like being in the outdoor studio. I think I'm gonna go to the indoor studio, which both of the studios is the size of a small home. And going back out into one of the 2 main courtyards with the palm trees. Yeah, I could almost picture this being open and Mr. Ed sticking his head out. Hello. That's an old reference. After Mr. Huntington's passing at 55, most of the furniture of the house was sent to the Huntington home in New York City. Mrs. Huntington passed out of the Connecticut home in 73. In tribute to them, Atalaya Arts and Crafts Festival is held here every September. Now here's the stable. You can see they got some benches and stuff in there. And the stable was home to some riding horses, Polly and Bob. Old Stevie lived here, an old hopeless stallion who she eventually nursed back to health and made a sculpture of. Right there. Look at that. I believe those sculptures are across the way at another property. I might go over there too and show some of them. Now going towards the bear pens. Bear pens? She only used live models for her sculpting. These pens were used for temporary housing for bears. That's interesting. You don't see that today. That would not fly today. Yeah, I got some bears. I'm gonna sculpt them. Can't you just use a photo? No, I need I need some real bears. The bears. Sorry. Wow. I mean, I'm just imagining right over here, live bears in here. Incredible to think about. I can't even wrap my head around that. And then the dog kennels. Plenty of room to run around for the dogs. They had several of them. Echo, which was Anna's greyhound, and Kelpie, one of her Scottish deerhounds, also served as models. Here's some photos of both of them. This must be Archer, holding up a cute little pup. Yeah, plenty of room to run around in here. Go in here with a frisbee with the dogs, throw the frisbee around. Did they have frisbees back then? Look at that. What you're hearing is an air conditioner behind me. The garage is now used as the gift shop, so I'll go in there in a moment. The oyster shucking room. This counter here would be used to shuck oysters. This was the garage. And one last facade over here I'll show before number 39. Oh, the incinerator. So here's this metal door. Because of the heat, we're burning trash and the garbage. It's kind of like a garbage dump. And this garage would house this, which they used to pull the animals, the monkeys, the dogs, and a macaw along. That's what they stored in the garage. And here are a couple t-shirts. They have t-shirts and hats. Oh, here's a close-up version of one of those chimney tops that I was kind of zooming in on just a little bit more. And there's also a lot of photos of the family. And take a look at this, old photographs of back in the day when it was just been finished being built. There's the tower. There in the middle, look at this old classic car alert down there. And there's a view from the top of the tower. You're seeing the water over in the distance. Yeah, that is pretty dang cool to see these old relic photos. And talking to the employee in the gift shop, she was letting me know to go across the street because most of the works of Anna are over there that were created here. And then they built the gardens across the street to display those works. And she also said a common misconception was that she married her husband for money, but the fact was when they met, she was already one of the most wealthiest women in the United States, and he hired her to create a bust for him, to create a sculpture, and then they fell in love, and the rest is history. Fascinating. Hello, little birdie. Just to show the proximity, right over those dunes is the beach and castle right over there, past those picnic tables. Starting to rain a little bit. Seeing a little drizzle there across the windshield. Going back over this bridge, over to the gardens. Arrived now at Brookgreen Gardens. more or less just right across the street. Right here on Brookgreen Drive. Admission to the gardens, $20. 10 times the price of going to the castle where the sculptures were created. But the $20 will also give you a 7-day ticket. However, I'm only going to be in here for today. But if you were visiting for a while, wanted to come back for the course of a week, the $20 covers all that. Here's a general layout of the land here, a property map. I would basically just be looking for all the sculptures that she created over there at the castle. I'm going to try to pinpoint a few key ones. And there's some little miniatures here. Recreation of Georgetown, South Carolina. Here in this little courtyard. Also should mention that she was not the only sculptor that has her work here in the gardens. A lot of it is, but others as well. This one was made back in 1980. Derek Werner. And behind this glass are some chairs from Atalaya Castle. Right here. In fact, you could see this very chair right there in that photograph of the Huntingtons with their dogs. That's the same chair. And right up there on the beach is the castle seen from the dunes. Right there. That's pretty cool, that chair. Same chair. All right, this is what I was looking for. Archer and Anna Hyatt Huntington Sculpture Garden, founded 1931. Right here in the middle of this fountain, well, technically it's not a fountain, it's just a body of water because I don't see any moving water. Appears to be one. Roman Goddess Diana of the Chase by Anna Huntington. Right over there, this very magnificent tree. And also there are 2 lions, one there, and appears to be a golf cart about to pull through the other lion. Also by Anna. Made over there at that castle that I was just at. Lion protects its own part of the world, as revealed on the globes between the lion's paws. Here is a jaguar Anna made. And this little walkway through here is called Live Oak Alley. They got some workers out. Ooh, they might be taking down lights through Live Oak Alley. Now see, this was not by the Huntingtons. This is another artist called Daniel Chester French. Down at the end of this walkway is Pegasus. I'm not sure the artist on this. I was thinking it was going to be a lot of the Huntingtons sculptures, but it appears as if a wide variety of artists are featured through here. And this one is the largest sculpture at Brookgreen and took the longest to create, nearly 9 years. And a couple over here as well. This one's very reminiscent of the Claude Bell one in front of Knott's Berry Farm. Old prospector with the mule. This one's by Carl Genuine, made of aluminum. Yeah, very similar to what Claude Bell created. Obviously, not the same artist, but let's see if this one is. Okay, I found one. I believe this is the horse that she nursed back to health in the barn there at the castle, if I remember correctly. So her work is just scattered all over the property. Not really in one specific place, as I can tell. And it was her medium of choice to use aluminum. She was the first sculptor to use aluminum back in 1932. Look at that. Back over at this window now with more objects from Atalaya. These phones down here. The Great Dane Gate was the original entrance to Brookgreen Gardens. The gate was designed by Anna Huntington. The gate is gone, but that is the Great Dane Gate, at least a photograph of it there. Oh, because there's Great Danes up on the pillars. Okay, I asked another employee, and they said back in the Offner Museum, they had a small sculpture. I'm gonna go past these peacocks. They had a small sculpture of what is in New York, the Joan of Arc sculpture that she created. Now inside the building, they had some smaller sculptures. Not every sculpture is life-size or gargantuan. Some little smaller ones are only like 2 or 3 feet tall. Here's where a lot of the bears that were kept in those pens over at the castle, you know, modeled after are, as well as the monkeys that are through here behind these glass cases. There are a few of them, but they are doing an exhibit in a few weeks. So a lot of those have been moved over to the new exhibit, which has not opened yet. So I was also talking to the very kind lady inside the little museum area that had all the little bears and monkeys and things that was sculpted over at the castle and then brought here. She was saying the smaller versions, for example, I had assumed that Joan of Arc, the famous Huntington Joan of Arc sculpture, was here on property. That is in New York, but they had a smaller version in there. As stated, a new exhibit is being constructed, which I will not be here for. In a few weeks it will have its grand opening, and that smaller maquette, she called it, is going to be, of Joan of Arc, was in there. It's going to be on display, so pretty neat. Didn't realize that it was in New York City, but makes sense. Very famous, probably most famous work by her, arguably the most famous work by Mrs. Huntington. All right, there it is right here. So starting January 29th, which I will not be here, I will not be in this area then, they are going to be the American Animalier, the life and art of Anna Hyatt Huntington. Right there. It appears as if it's going to be right here in this front gallery, and they're in there working on it, I believe. Oh, there's some bears right there. And peeking through the window, I believe that's the Joan of Arc sculpture right there, look. When I get to New York City, definitely gonna check this out. It's over on Riverside, full size. Created right here. And that's gonna do it for today. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over.